All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are just going to do a little special presentation on just going to talk some Major League Baseball tonight with a couple guys. Tonight on Talking Sports with
Tom McCarthy, Tom and Quincy.
What's up? And who do we have there?
How are we, gentlemen? How's everything going?
I'm good, man.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well, man. We got some Phillies baseball currently happening right now. I believe it's a one-run game. Adam Wheeler pitching a gem. I think he's got 8 Ks at this point. It's been some good, interesting baseball. Ready to dive into a little bit, take a break from hockey for once. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So how's everyone's team doing?
It's a general question.
Well, we gotta ask.
No. Better than they were the last time I talked to all you guys. I know that. But they're running into kind of a buzzsaw up in Toronto, and it was kind of to be expected a little bit. They've kind of beat up on that schedule that is pretty poor in the rest of the league, but AL East is going to be rough for them. They had a tough go before they went on that run, and it's kind of repeating itself right now. And I hope that they get that in order. We'll see, but I don't think that they can hang with the AL East.
It's tough. Yeah, I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, please.
You guys are 12 games back, right? You guys are 12 games back. The Yankees are playing some football. They had a record of 54-20. You guys are at 42-32. Obviously above 500. Always like to see that. Blue Jays are right behind you guys by a half. And it's still tight. I mean, even the Rays are only a game. But that Yankees, Red Sox, obviously top 3 greatest rival of all time. It definitely is for me anyway. But over time and years, you watch 2 teams where the rival is still incredible to watch, but you just watch 2 teams transition very differently the last couple of years. You understand what I'm saying? Like you saw certain players really develop well, especially from the homegrown farm system, and you watch the Red Sox really make moves.
What's going on? Hold on a second. I have to turn my volume.
Frank. Hey, Eric, how are you, man? Sorry, Frank.
Doing good.
He's a late bloomer today, Frank. Sorry.
Got the new mic.
Nice. So go ahead, Frank. Continue.
Thanks, Adam. And you had the Red Sox where, for so long they relied really a lot on their leadership and veterans. And that's Boston. That's Boston strong. They relied on each other. And you're seeing players, obviously David Ortiz is gone now. But the one thing about the Red Sox that I feel like they're missing still, who was such an important part, was a guy like Dustin Pedroia. He was that player that, you knew exactly where he was going to be position-wise, but he was like that, I don't want to say heart and soul more or less because there were players like that, like David Ortiz, but Dustin Pedroia, night in, night out, he was like Chase Utley. And Chase Utley here in Philadelphia, you got the emblem right behind me. There was no better really in Philadelphia than the Phillies and Chase Utley. Fan favorite. Everybody loved him. Positioning, probably one of the most perfect swings in ball. Dustin Pedroia in Boston. I mean, he's just that guy that and it's a shame because towards the end of his career, injuries really got him. He was being in Philly. He was an incredible player to watch. If we appreciate the sport, but it's going to be tough for the Red Sox. It really is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Frank, I gotta admit, I love that background of yours.
We got a serious buzz going on somebody's end.
Chase Utley had one of the best weighted on base averages of all time. That analytical stat, very important. Getting on base all the time, man. That's what I like in baseball.
It's an important part of the position, and
yes,
it's different now too because I was just having this conversation with my grandfather and my dad upstairs about the way things are now and then. You look at the Phillies right now, and the players that they invested in are bombers. You have a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of guys that are going to put the ball at the ballpark. But then if you transition, you look back to that 08 team, You had a guy like Ryan Howard where he was going to put up 45 of 130. You had a guy like Chase Utley. He was going to good power, but consistency in hitting. Everybody had a role. Chase, Shane Victorino and Jimmy Rollins, speed, get on base, and then move over for the small ball, make it happen. You had guys that can make contact and make plays. Pat Burrell, he wasn't a big power guy, but he would step up and he would get the hit if needed. You're not seeing a lot of that right now. You're just seeing Rollins. My grandpa's right there with me right now. Shout out to him. Lead off, and a guy like Jimmy Rollins, where not known for what he was known for, but consistent. He won the MVP for a reason. Similar to Andrew McCutchen. It's not like that big name player, but what he did very, very well. And leadership was obviously important too.
Yeah, it seems like everybody builds their team off the analytics from the Oakland A's and from 2002 anymore, don't it?
You can thank Billy Bean for that one. And
I know, right?
Which is top 3, one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way. Incredible.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. They didn't win, though.
Everyone, Jason has joined.
No, but the fact that they did end up going to the playoffs with that team is insane.
They did. The one thing I'll say about Moneyball, which I love the movie, don't get me wrong, but they've, beyond going into they went out and got Justice, no one wanted them. They went out and got Hatterberg, no one wanted them. They had
Jason, Jeremy.
Dude, they had Chavez back. They didn't have Tejada. They had Mulder.
They traded Tejada, though.
Mulder, Zito. It wasn't like they were this, this team with nobody. They just had the guys when they were younger. They just didn't. They knew they were going to trade them away. But
I thought I remembered.
But the overall movie was great.
I thought I remember Tejada being traded before the trade deadline. That film.
I just don't remember Tejada being mentioned in the movie at all, and he was pretty important. That's all. I love the movie, though.
It focuses on the guy who played catcher and his arm was broken and he had to go play
third. We had him here. I know all about Hatterberg.
Yeah. I don't remember all their names. I was 6 in 2002. So me remembering that, all the players' names.
It was a good movie, for sure.
It was a good movie, though. Yes, I agree. Yeah, Hatterberg.
Hatterberg, yeah. Now look at the guy that played Hatterberg. He's like a superhero in all those movies and stuff. Chris Pratt, Jurassic Park. That's him.
Guardians of the Galaxy, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Peter Quill.
Who knew?
Right? Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, it's definitely really interesting. So Jason, how are you, man? Frankie, I'm over here on behalf of the Philadelphia area. Dodgers fan, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, Frankie. Yeah, I told Tom and the host here that I live in actually Fresno, California, which geographically is right in the middle of California. We're about 5 hours from LA, about 3.5 hours from San Francisco. But what's interesting about where I live here, guys, is that geographically speaking, we have a higher contingent of Giants fans than we do Dodger fans. We're outnumbered by about 2 to 1, but still, when I drive around town a lot, I see a lot of Dodger flags and pennants and license plate frames. But this area historically has always been a huge big Giants fan base. Our single-A baseball team for a very long time in the 60s, 70s, and 80s was the Fresno Giants. And yeah.
Oh, no, this is for Adam to call me.
So God. Okay. Sorry about that.
Forth with this, somebody cuts off. I'm sorry. That's podcast.
No, that's all right. So I was actually born in Southern California. I was born in an area called Fontana, which is in an area there called the Inland Empire. Mm-hmm. And greater.
Froze up, I believe. Everybody froze up, Jason. Okay.
Who actually moved out. Yeah. My dad was born in Chicago. Originally grew up a Cubs fan, but then when he moved out to L.A., grew up watching Koufax and Drysdale and Johnny Roseboro and Tommy Davis. And I inherited my Dodger fandom from him. And so I've been loyal to the Blue ever since I was, my daughter's age, even younger than that. So,
yeah. That's awesome. It's good stuff. And I'll tell you this. Dodgers are a franchise. What more can you really say? But I'll do a little comparison here.
Yeah.
And we're going to relate, and it's going to relate with both teams. San Francisco Giants and LA Dodgers. Something about those teams that they really all had in common was incredible pitching, consistent pitching. I mean, and I really like the San Francisco Giants pitching a lot because, guys like when Tim Lincecum came up, people forget it wasn't just Tim Lincecum. You had guys like Barry Zito still at number 3 who could throw a rock and light it up. They had some really, really good pitching from San Francisco, and obviously some really good ball players. I mean, we panned over a third who was clutch for so long. But Tim Lincecum and the Freak was incredible pitching. And then you go over with the LA Dodgers, and what more can I say? Clayton Kershaw, top 5 greatest pitcher probably of all time. He's just incredible. The intensity that he shows. Not to compare him to Jonathan Papelbon. We remember Papelbon had incredible intensity when he would get on the mound and pitch. We got a dose of them in Philadelphia, and it wasn't the same. Trust me. We definitely got the good years of Jonathan Papelbon, but you got great pitching, guys like that. It's so important these days. And you're watching the Phillies. Just a quick take. They invested so much money into the bats, and it's like you almost forget how to play small ball because all you have is these power bats. I can't forget about pitching, man. Pitching is so important. You go back to that 2008 team. A lot of players were homegrown. You have Cole Hamels, who's out playing lights out, leadership with Jamie Moyer, Joe Blanton. You had guys that fit in, and they were not being pushed in different positions. Joe Blanton was a third. Joe Blanton were potential 4th. You didn't try and bump him up to be a 2, when you didn't need to. I look at Aaron Nola. My personal opinion, I just had this conversation with my grandfather. He's a 3. He might be even number 2. He is not an ace. And that's my opinion. He's not even consistent. He good strikeouts, but they wanted him to be Cole Hamels, and he never panned out. It's the bottom line.
Yep. Well, Frankie, I have a lot of favorite ball players of all time. One of my favorites is actually Lenny Dykstra, and you know Lenny Dykstra, old nails well. And
love Lenny Dykstra.
I remember meeting him a few times actually.
Yeah, I remember watching a lot of that Phillies team in '93 when they
the Misfits, man, the Misfits.
Yeah, right, the Misfits, but. And now I kind of chastise myself about being a Lenny Dykstra fan because ever since he retired from baseball, he's been pretty much a hoodlum, a hooligan, a cheater. So I'm like, nails. Why was I ever a fan, man?
Because of the way he played.
That whole team was one big player. There was one big player that whole team, man. You had guys like Trucker, who's awesome. Kurt Schilling was on that team. I'm just talking about him too. The whole team was just a bunch of misfits, but they found ways to play together. They were all in it for each other. I love it.
I love Lenny Dykstra, even when he played for the Mets back in the 80s.
Mets Lenny was different. You come to Philadelphia, he was, well, hey, how's your father doing?
I'm sure he was in New York with Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Oh, did you say Darryl Strawberry, this guy right here? I think so.
There it is. That's a nice card, Jay. Yeah, but you probably have to play the game room, don't you?
Sorry, Tom. I'm not going to bring up the Mets in front of you ever again. I know that's still a sore subject with you, Childs.
I'd make a quick phone call, guys.
All right, so Jay, you like the Dodgers. Tom, you got the Red Sox. Frankie, you got the Phillies. And Eric, I don't know where he ran off to.
He just popped in for a minute.
Well, he was checking his mic. I saw him hold the mic up and say, "I'll be right." Look like he said, "He'll be right back." So, So how is everyone feeling about their team heading into the break? We'll start with LA, even though they are in first place.
Shocker.
Well, yeah, okay. I consider myself a very knowledgeable and when I want to be a very objective Dodger fan, when I'm not screaming at them in the TV when they're losing 10-2. But here's how I honestly feel about that. Yeah. Here's how I feel about my team heading into the break, guys. If I were to give them a 10-star rating, I would probably give them right now about 5 stars. Well, obviously they're dealing with injuries right now, just like everybody else. I get the one thing that just frustrates me more about this team than anything else is they're a very opportunistic offense. They will come out one night and they'll score 9 runs, 10 runs, 11 runs one night, and then they have a 4 or 5 game stretch where these guys are up there swinging at grapefruits, and they're scoring 6 runs combined over the next 10 to 15 games. And I equate that to a few things. Obviously, they have a lot of guys that have been key contributors in their lineup before, like Chris Taylor, Justin Turner, they all, et cetera, who are really, really off to bad starts this year. And they're in the middle of the lineup where you generate most of that run production, and that's one of the big problems. But I also say because of the injuries, we've lost Walker Buehler until September, maybe even longer. Who knows if we're going to get him back? The bullpen, as always, is it's a roller coaster of laughs and elbow scratchers every night. So even though the Dodgers are first,
we got a dog.
yeah. Even though the Dodgers are in first, I'm honestly not feeling good about them right now because the NL West, it can go any direction, to be honest with you. So I would have to give them about a 5 out of 10 going into the break.
So concerning the first place 45 and 27 LA Dodgers. Man, I'm sorry for your struggles, brother.
It's tough.
When you lose certain players, it really does. It becomes difficult, man. And if you don't mind, Adam, I'll jump in. I can talk a little bit about it on my side of things.
That's fine. I was just looking up at the standings.
Yeah, for sure. No, I hear you.
As you see, I can now post them like right on the front here, Frankie.
All kinds of stuff.
I'm learning something new about this StreamYard every day.
It's a good stuff, man. So Phillies, man, the NL East, third place right now is about 8 games out. I'll say this, 39-35. It was a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. When they let Joe Girardi go in, I'll give my take on Joe Girardi. When he was let go of the team for 2 years, it's all change. The Phillies started winning. I think they must won 10 in a row. Play some good ball, small ball, power hitters, exactly what they're paying people to do. The pitching is just so inconsistent. And they really made people forget a lot of the moves that they made to keep some of these players, i.e. JT Realmuto. I mean, you had to give things up, and you gave up 6, though, man. That's going to come back. That guy was pitching in the playoffs. Like, his pitching is so important. We invested so much money in bats, and people are putting the home runs out the park. But 2 things: one, the Philadelphia Phillies lead the league, I believe, in men left on base. These are popping home runs every time. And also, with that being said, small ball's done. You have to play small ball. Everybody's hitting for the fences. You got to remember to get the ribbies, driving those ribbies, contact. It's not always about that big, huge swing. You have to remember to make contact on your opponent and get the hit when it's needed. You have role guys that do that. I mean, go back to that the 08 team. Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard struck out 2 more times, probably more. But what he brought you was huge power. When you have like 4 or 5 of those guys and a payroll that's absurd, it's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. So the Phillies, they aren't what I expected them to be because they did make moves to bring in some bats, but they need more. They need more. They need better pitching. Wheeler is incredible. I have my concerns about really everything else. I give the Phillies probably a 5 right there down the middle. Not a first place 5, but a 5 to where things are concerning and they have to make a move in the trade deadline because of the simple fact and kind of end my take with the Bills. You just lost Bryce Harper for 6 weeks.
So are they going to have to make
6 weeks? Bryce Harper's out for 6 weeks with a broken finger. I mean, they're winning. They just took care of business with the Padres, but soon enough, and it's going to happen. It's inevitable. You're going to be missing Bryce. Locker room, on the field, that guy's the man. I mean, he's an incredible talent. He might be, incredible talent that he does. It's going to hurt. But I don't have the Phillies in the playoffs this year either. I don't know when they will get to that level. And I now have the opportunity to watch a little bit more baseball because obviously with the offseason for me, I don't know what Adam has told you about me, but I get real busy around hockey season for 82 games. So now I get to watch a little bit more of around the league. But it's concerning. The Phillies are concerning. We haven't really had a lot of good baseball in a while. Not like the first place Dodgers and the second place Red Sox. Bastards.
I would say that, as a true Red Sox fan, that because I'm just like asshole in some ways, I guess you could call it. I called the season dead on like May 8th.
Yes, you did on your Facebook.
Because they were getting absolutely destroyed by everyone. And I had a hard time trying to figure out how they're going to actually put wins together.
So sorry to jump in and cut you off there, Tom. Really did not mean to do that. I as I mentioned earlier in the show, I am getting ready to leave now to go to do my photo shoot. I just want to jump back in. Real quick, Adam, thanks so much for having me on. I know I wasn't on here that long, but I am glad that I did get to come on here and talk to your gents.
Frankie,
Jason,
you're welcome back anytime, man. You're brilliant.
Means a lot to me.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Jason, Tom, we'll keep conversations going. We'll follow each other. It was good talking
Definitely.
with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good meeting you.
And yeah, man, I love it. I'll give it a share, and I'll be sure to comment it in when I can.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you can come back, Frankie, just let me know.
I for sure will. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, buddy.
Go Phillies.
Hey,
All right, have a good one. All right, that was Frankie James. Eric, you good, or what's going on over there?
No, I'm good. I just had to go get food for my DoorDash driver real quick.
Oh, all right. So, Tom, you were saying? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was saying it was kind of like, how the season started. It was tough to think that they'd be able to straighten the shit. And they have straightened the shit. And, some people, not me necessarily, but some people like, oh my God, pants off to how they've played. Trust me, I love when they win. 19-4 in June is a fantastic thing. However, you got to remember who they played. And the Cleveland sweep was pretty nice. But around here, they're like, well, now Cleveland's not that good. So it's like, well, going into the series, they were good. And these are the teams you're competing against for the wild card. It's going to be really hard for them to not get that third wild card because the new playoff structure is foolish. So the three of them are probably going to come from the AL East.
Tampa
and it's
Bay.
probably going to be a battle between Tampa and Boston because or New York's got the division. That's a given. They're not gonna piss that away. So you're gonna deal with Tampa and Toronto, and the team that comes out of those head-to-heads is gonna get that third wild card. The issue is they've played like absolute trash against those guys, and I mean I just checked in. They're winning now. They're up 5-4. Where they were losing 4-2 when I started this thing, but they need to be able to come through before the trade deadline. I think they were talking. They got 17 games or something left between the Yankees and the Rays and the Blue Jays. So you have to figure, and then they got 3 against the Cubs, which they should be able to take care of the Cubs. But those 17 games. You got to figure you got to come as close to 500 as you can. And if they can catch fire a bit, maybe you can come out of that stretch with, above 5. But I'm thinking they're not gonna. They might go like 8-9, 7-10, which I won't even be mad at if they do that. If they come back with like 5-12. I'm not going to be happy, but that's my concern leading into what this trade deadline is going to be. So if they actually show that they can compete head-to-head with the rest of the AL East minus Baltimore, because I don't include them in anything ever, then I think that then you're talking about, all right, now you're in the mix, so what do you do? So that's kind of where I'm at with them right now. It's up in the air as far as the overall grade 1 to 10 coming to now. They started so poorly. Whatever the hell it was, 8-19 or something like that. They've been on an absolute tear since, which is fantastic. But you gotta give them maybe a 5 based on what the performance was for those first 20 or so games. That's tough to take. That's unacceptable in my opinion.
So Trevor Story's become a better story for you now?
Well, yeah, he's like, I hated JD Martinez when they signed him too. So it's like, hey, listen, if the guy plays well, so be it. I still don't like it. I don't like why he's here. That's my man. That's my thing, and that's on me. That's a Bogarts thing. I hate that they brought him on and instead of signing Bogarts. I can't tell you. I've told you a billion times by now. I can't say it enough. Horrible decision. Horrible.
I guess we're dealing with shortstops because I guess the guy right below me in LA had the same situation last year with Seager and Turner.
It's just,
Yep.
It's brutal.
And I got to be honest with you guys. Look, I'm a Corey Seager fan. I think he can be a tremendous player when he wants to be, but I was not sad to see him go to Texas and take the big money because he's obviously been a bit of an injury risk now the last few years. But I mean, there was absolutely, look, Seager is good, but he's not good enough for the 280, 290.
Oh, the money's insanity.
Yeah. I mean, the Texas Rangers obviously completely jumped off the boat when they gave him that money. But let's be real. Yeah, Texas they're 25 and 37. It looks like there. But even though I was sad to see Seager go, at the same time I wasn't because we're getting another year out of Trey Turner. Unfortunately, Trey's not going to be a Dodger next year, so that's the downside to it. And I think that actually, Tom, I don't know if you've heard this rumor, but I think at least the reason why the Dodgers haven't offered Trey Turner a long-term extension yet is because Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts are buds. And obviously Xander being a free agent, I think this is just me, that the Dodgers would rather put their long-term money in Xander Bogaerts, bring him to LA and play with his bud Mookie, rather than have Trey Turner play in LA when A, he would prefer to play on the East Coast. B, he lives in Florida, so he would prefer to train in the spring somewhere close to home. And C, teams like the Phillies, teams like the Red Sox train in Florida. So I'm looking in the crystal ball, and right now when the smoke is settling from the crystal ball, I'm just not seeing Trey staying in LA long term. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bogaerts makes his way out west here eventually.
That would break Tom's heart, I think.
Excuse me while I cry.
It's just, Tom, it's just a theory. It may not happen.
It's a
theory.
My thing, which I just still can't understand. I still don't get it. I don't understand this at all. I kind of got the Mookie thing because the rumor was that Mookie just was like, I don't want to stay in Boston. It's not for everybody. I get it. Yeah. We've seen it countless times. They sign big money here, and they simply suck, and they can't perform. They don't like the scrutiny of the media. They don't like the scrutiny of the fans. It's just not for them, and that's okay. It just doesn't work, and that's all right. Yeah. Xander Bogaerts he is like the truest professional baseball player that they have drafted and developed since I started watching the Red Sox. He is everything you want in a professional baseball player. And they're just like, nah, you've been good. We'll just let you walk and sign some guy that is kind of a cartoon fabrication of the Rockies. It makes me sick that you would bring a guy on knowing you have a guy like Bogaerts in place that I just don't get it. And again, this is why I'm a cable guy and not a GM. It makes zero sense to me. And I've been lambasted by the nerds on this. Yeah. Lambasted about defensive metrics, all this bullshit. I'll tell you something. I don't need defensive metrics because I actually watch baseball.
Yep.
I don't need you to bust out your 3-ring binder to tell me that I don't know what I'm looking at because if I read the spreadsheet, this is what it tells you. I don't work that way. I'm just older maybe, and I don't feel I'm that old. However, when it comes to baseball talk, holy shit, I might as well be 80 because I don't get it. I don't understand how you're going to tell me you're going to give Trevor Story $140 million to come in to take place of Bogarts, who's been here in the organization since he was 16, by the way, and they're going to let him walk away for maybe $4 or $5 million more a year. I don't understand it. I never will understand it. And my hope still, which I have no faith in, but it's hope, they figure something out with Bogarts. I don't get it. I simply don't.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Eric, are you
To
ready
go
to
out
talk
there now with
Yankees?
Mookie. That's fitting.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to talk. Yeah, I think
Sorry.
it's a shame they're gonna get rid of Devers, man. They need to. I mean, not
Brutal.
I'm
Are you
sorry.
going to come back on camera or no?
I'm eating. I don't think you guys want to watch that.
No, I don't think maybe all my YouTube people do. Maybe you'll get my watches up.
No, I'm good.
All right. So
No.
anyway, Eric, back to your Yankees.
You know, I don't think there's really too much to complain about. We're the best team in baseball. We're setting records right now. On pace to hit the most home runs all time for any team. That's the pace we're at. Hopefully we do it. I mean, what is there to say about this season? I mean, there's nothing negative. It's all positive. I mean, let's see. I think I just saw a statistic at the beginning of this Yankees game that mentioned that they came back from a +3 deficit 4 times in the past 6 games. That was the first time in New York Yankee history. Babe Ruth didn't do it. Reggie Jackson didn't do it. Jeter and A-Rod didn't do it together. It was this group right here, which I think is amazing, that they are able to pull something off like that. Able to come back. This is probably the best group since that 2009 World Series team I've seen since that championship. With that being said, I think we're World Series bound. I am convinced. I don't say that too often. You know me. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm very negative of them all the time. I don't say it often. I'm confident in this team. They are World Series bound. Now, my only concern is having Joey Gallo.
Garrett Cole in the playoffs.
I don't know what happened to him, but ever since he's been a Yankee, he's been playing like dog shit. Okay? I don't know what it is. When he played with the Rangers, he had an OPS plus of 117. If you don't know what OPS plus is, for your viewers, I'll just do a little. It's basically averages OPS, right? So, if he at 117 means he's 17% better than average for OPS. That's good. Anything above 100 is awesome. He has a 79 OPS plus this season. Can we get this guy on the bench, man? This guy is supposed to be an above average OPS dude, and he can't even reach the 100 mark. He's not even close to it. I don't know. I feel like the Yankees are going to ship him off in July. I hope they do, because he is a liability for that Yankee team right now. Every time he's in the lineup. Other than that, that's my only complaint. The bullpen's amazing. Clay Holmes has stepped up great in place of Aroldis Chapman, closing out games. I'm very happy with Clay Holmes. This bullpen is one of the best I've seen in a long time. So, no complaints.
Nasty Nestor.
It's got to be nice when there's no complaints. That's pretty good.
Dude, there's really nothing to complain about other than Joey Gallo.
dig it.
Yeah, remember we live close to Pittsburgh, so when we see winning teams, it's a whole different ball game.
Well, yeah, I get to see my Yankees come to town in Pittsburgh here on the 6th. I can't wait.
Oh, that's right. Where the Yankees are coming the 4th of July weekend, huh?
Yep, Tuesday, Wednesday, just a 2-game series.
Are you getting the Mazeroski bobblehead?
I believe that's the 5th. No, we're going on the 6th. But if my fiance comes through, she's been messing with me about Yankees tickets for the 5th too. So I go both days, one with her, one with that. So,
Why don't you go both days?
I would. I'd love to.
I would.
Keeps
go both
messing
days.
with me.
But yeah, the Pirates are giving out a Bill Mazeroski bobblehead while the Yankees.
I noticed that. That's cute. It's your 19 MLB playoff appearances for an 100+ year franchise. It's not a good look. I mean, they were good at once, you know?
Right.
And only
All right.
19 playoff appearances to show for. I know that it was only 2 teams playing each other in the playoffs at the time. But, you know, still, no excuse.
All right, Eric, any trade rumors that you've heard about coming out of New York?
It's a good question. I heard our commentators talking about, you know, what are they going to do with Chapman now, you know, and now that Clay Holmes has been an excellent closer for the Yankees. So now it seems like the trade rumors are going to, they're going to move Chapman for some prospects, get a couple young. I'm like, no, that is not a Yankee thing. We trade our prospects. Well, if this was George Steinbrenner running the team, now it seems like we're home growing people a little bit more. You know, Aaron Judge is a great example. But other than that, you know, it's kind of the same format that we're used to here as Yankee fandom, except they're kind of going with a more modern approach of actually getting some prospects sometimes in deals. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But so far, it's looking like Chapman is what I heard on the game today.
Anything coming out of the Boston camp?
The only thing I know, if they're going to make moves, bullpen, for the love of God, please. Or if you're going to get a middle of the rotation guy, you can put Whitlock back where he belongs in the bullpen. Then maybe you don't have to address too many needs if you can get him back there. If you're going to leave Whitlock in, you have to, for the love of God, get someone in the bullpen, because it's dumpstified sometimes on who you're rolling out. You know, and if you had guys, like if you were going to say, all right, Hulk's going to close. That's the case. Hulk's going to close. And you're going to have a few other guys that are going to fill the 7th and 8th, you know, whatever. The Diekman thing, he walks entirely too many people. And the Austin Davises and the Robles is a arsonist out there. So you can't put him in any, you know, pressure situations. So ideally, middle of the rotation starter to get Whitlock back in the bullpen, or if you're going to leave Whitlock in the rotation, then you'd have to get a legitimate bullpen arm. Not some stiff, a legit guy. Like a legit guy off of maybe a team not so good, but it's then they know you need it. So then who are they going to give away? And we all know at this point, Bloom doesn't give away prospects, no matter how many he's gathered in the couple of years he's been here. So it's like, what's he willing to give up? And I think, unfortunately, for Red Sox fans, he's not going to pull the trigger to get someone that's actually valuable. He's going to try to manipulate this thing on the matchup situation and go cheap and see what happens. And I just don't think that that's going to be good enough for them to be able to. They may be competitive, but they're not going to be. That's not going to be enough to get them towards, you know, advancing past maybe getting the wild card.
LA?
Yeah, so obviously it wouldn't be the LA Dodgers if we didn't have trade rumors around this time of year. The frustrating thing about that is Andrew Friedman obviously always plays his trade cards close to the vest, so you never know what's going to happen pretty much until the last minute. And Friedman is not a knee-jerk reaction kind of guy anyway. He's always going to wait out the market to see what's there. But in regards to the rumors, the Dodgers obviously need to address the middle part of their lineup. It's the weakest hitting lineup in baseball. I think collectively they're only batting 189 or 190 as a unit through the hitters 4 through 6. So they're talking about getting a power hitter, but no names have been mentioned. The bullpen, Tom, I sympathize with you, my friend, on bullpen because ours is garbage too. Bruce Gratterall throws 100 miles per hour, but you know what? The bazooka may be able to throw gas, but it's not good when you're giving up home runs and when you can't control it. So they need to shore up their bullpen. I've heard rumors about them going out there and getting guys like Frankie Montas from the A's and maybe getting Luis Castillo from the Reds to also fortify the back end of the rotation. But the problem is neither the Reds or the A's are just going to settle for a flat-out cash dump with those two guys. They're going to want significant prospects in return. And if I'm sitting in the GM seat, there's no way I'm giving up a prime, close to major league ready prospect like Miguel Vargas for Frankie Montas. And there's
Right.
no way I'm giving up an outfielder like Michael Bush, who's raking down a AAA Oklahoma City right now, for a guy like Luis Castillo in Cincinnati. So I think this year is going to be a lot harder for the Dodgers to make trades, simply because they still have a lot of prospects, but they're running thin. And I don't think Andrew Friedman is going to be as inclined to make that big trigger move the way he has in the last couple of years. But aside from Montas and Luis Castillo, I've heard JD Martinez's name being mentioned as a possible power hitter in the middle of the lineup. But I look at your roster, Tom, and I look at the Dodgers roster. I'm like, aside from, minor league talent, who would the Red Sox want for JD Martinez? I just don't know if who from that Dodger team fits Boston's needs going forward. So, unfortunately with the Dodgers, we're not going to find out what they're going to need until like the last minute, which is how Friedman always plays it.
I think it's funny that you mentioned the Castillo thing, 'cause that is one that's been mentioned around here.
Yeah.
And it was Jeter Downs, who has not played well since they got him from you guys.
For Mookie.
For Mookie. Oof, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, well,
and then
how long is Mookie going to be out? Sorry, Tom, not to interrupt you.
Oh, no, it's fine.
How long is Mookie going to be out? So I was on the Dodgers Twitter page today, and Dave Roberts held a press conference saying that they were hoping to get him back next week, but he's progressing slowly. If you guys follow if you even sniff around some of the Dodgers, you know that they never tell the truth about their players' injuries. They are better than any other organization in baseball at BSing their actual injuries. My feeling is they're going to let Mookie take his time. They're going to let him sit out the rest of the first half of the season and then bring him back after the All-Star break. And unfortunately, with a cracked rib, there's a lot of other ancillary things that can happen after that. The rib may not heal properly. They also have to check and make sure that no other internal organs were damaged when the rib broke. So I think Mookie's going to be out for the rest of the first half, and they'll bring him back after the All-Star break and see what he can do.
I'm sure we'll talk more about that tomorrow, Jay, but I just wanted to bring it up now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. Any other trade rumors coming out? Anyone? We good?
Not that I've heard yet. There'll be plenty in the next couple weeks. I think it's all dependent on how the Sox get through this AL East stretch. It'll be more aggressive then, You're going to get to the point where they're going to go, are they going to buy, they're going to sell type situation. I have a feeling they need the same fix right now that they do, no matter, regardless of what the record looks like at the end of it, because I don't think that bullpen is sustainable, regardless how well they've pitched recently. They don't have many guys that you can't put in high pressure, and that if you're gonna play these guys into the playoffs, you need guys that can pitch in high pressure. And these got Taylor Danish or whatever the hell his name is, like these guys, they're a dime a dozen, and they simply can't do the job. You need some reputable players, and I just don't think they have it. So you hope that, they think, well, maybe we're on the cusp of something. Let's do this. But I'm not sure Bloom will do it. I hope to God they do, but we'll see.
All right. Don't ask me. We're always sellers, so it really doesn't matter.
I don't know what to think anymore here, Adam. So, who knows? It used to be a certain way here.
And you
were playing well. You were going out and you were adding. And now it's different.
It's a former Red Sox GM who's home in your front office now. Ben Sherrington. Go figure that.
Oh, man.
That's funny. Like, we had Tim Neverett first, then he went to Boston, and now he's in LA.
Woo! He's doing a great job in LA, by the way.
I like Tim Neverett. He's good. He's a good announcer.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
Yeah, it's something else. It's changed so far. Like you go from what the Theo stuff was, which everyone around here, I loved Theo Epstein. and then you went into the when they blew that up, they decided they didn't want to keep Theo, so they went to the Charringtons and the Dombrowskis and then the Blooms and then all this, and it's just like Theo never should have left him, man.
You mean Ben Charrington?
That would be the one.
The current Pirates GM?
That would be him.
Yeah. Look, man, this is between me and Adam for a second. You guys come into like this Pirates team, man, being from this town and the sports radio here, and all I have to hear about is the Pirates all day at school when I have it on 93.7 The Fan. So, I get to hear about them. But now this team is exciting, man. O'Neal Cruz getting called up, 6'7" shortstop, and he can make plays, tall and lanky. At that, damn good at the position.
Yeah, he'll be traded soon.
The only problem, well, no. See, he just got called up. You got to give him 6 years, okay? You got to let the couple arbitration years scare the Pirates. That's when they start to trade people.
Well, didn't he have that Twitter throw the other day, Eric, of 98 miles an hour from short to first?
Yeah,
dude, his arm strength is insane. They should put him in third, man. He throws way too hard. I think he's going to break the first baseman's hand. They keep on having to throw it that hard from short.
I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but O'Neal Cruz actually was in the Dodgers farm system for a while.
Yeah, I can't remember what deal it was that they
all roads lead back.
It was, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Tony Watson trade 4 years ago.
Oh my God,
that's it. Oh my God.
Yeah, 4 years ago, the Dodgers desperately needed a left-handed reliever to shut down left-handed hitters because they couldn't get him out. And so they traded O'Neal Cruz and some cash to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Tony Watson, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Dude, I chastised that deal just because Tony Watson was such a beast in Pittsburgh.
He was part of the Shark Tank.
He's the leader in reliever hold since they counted that as a stat in 2012.
Yeah, he was part of the Shark Tank that year. Yeah.
All-time leader in holds. Not saves, holds. Like, who cares if you held the lead? I want to know if you made a save. But, I don't know. Since they counted it, he's the leader in holds. Who would be the real leader in holds? I don't know. You'd have to watch every game back then and then make a determination from there.
Well, I mean, they have a guy in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning now. They have a guy designated for those innings only.
Now you get two guys with holds. You hold the lead to get the guy that's going to hold the lead to get to the guy that's going to eventually close.
Yeah, I know. There's no such thing as a stopper anymore. Boy, wouldn't that be sick? We get another stopper that does like 3 innings in a row to make a save.
Like the Wetland to Mariano Rivera situations ain't happening anymore.
Oh, I know. There is no more 2-3 inning guys, man.
No, there's
it is rare to see that. It sometimes happens, but it is rare.
I think it's needed. I think structured roles in a bullpen is needed. But again, I'm showing.
Well, they do have structured rules. You get 2 outs.
Really?
You get the pitching out.
It's just like the days of the 6th, 7th, 8th guy, like that was structured, where guys knew what they did every game, as opposed to, well, we're going to use you.
Yeah, situationally, you pitch well against
brutal.
Righties.
It's killed it. Like,
no, I mean, it makes sense, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want to go with the guy who has a good split. I mean,
yeah. I get that.
I'm for analytics when it comes to pitching and hitting. I do not care about analytics when it comes to defense. I think when it comes to playing defense, you need to use your eyes to look at a
Analytics killed Tampa Bay by taking out Blake Snell. Didn't even throw 65 pitches. Untouchable, unstoppable.
Well, okay, see, now that's where
the stats will tell you different, though, Adam. That's the problem, is you don't really know that. The stats told you what was going to happen.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, it happened, all right. Just Blake Snell wasn't in the game.
Goes too far.
Agreed.
Okay, if this guy is doing great in 6 innings, I'm keeping him out there. Screw your numbers at this point. He's beating him right now.
They're never saying that, though.
But I know. But look, I'm different. I use analytics as a guide. I don't use it as my full, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I play out of the park baseball. So it's actually like a real GM game. It's sick. Okay. It's super realistic. And I use that as a guide when I pick up people. I would never, ever actually use that for a whole, yes, this is going to be the be-all, end-all formula I'm going to use to have 26 guys on my roster. Like, no. It's a guide. That's all it is.
All right.
You know what I mean? I think if you use it as a guide, I think you can get a lot. I think you can get a lot more production.
Well, I think a lot of baseball head offices feel the same. I'm
not saying let it be the be-all, end-all just because, this guy doesn't.
No, I know. I'm
on
just
base
waiting for.
enough.
I'm waiting for one of those teams that are going on the more analytical side to actually win a World Series. I'm still waiting for that. I know they can win. Like the Devil Rays keep winning every year. They keep piling up regular season wins every single season. The A's used to do it for as long as Billy Beane was there. They never win the World Series though.
Jay,
because I think that those stats, I think the stats they use are easier to quantify in 162 games as opposed to a 7-game series. I don't think that those stats work in that situation. That's all.
Hold on, Jay's got something to say. Hold on, Eric. Hold on, Jay's got something to say about the analytics on the pitching and all that.
Yeah, here's my take on analytics. I deplore analytics. I
love
deplore
it.
analytics. Now look, with that being said, I'm not going to tell you that teams can't be successful initiating analytics either in the front office or on the field, because this team right here is the best example of that. The Dodgers are probably the most, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but the Dodgers are probably the most heavily relied upon analytical organization in baseball. They have numbers crunchers from top to bottom in their front office that do nothing but spit out numbers all day. But with that being said, guys, here's the reason why I deplore analytics, okay? The 1927 New York Yankees weren't built with analytics, all right? The 86 Red Sox, the 86 Mets weren't built with analytics. The Oakland Athletics won 3 consecutive World Series championships from 72 to 74 because of good old-fashioned scouting and good old-fashioned talent. The 88 Dodgers were not built with analytics, and the 99 Yankees were not built with analytics. My feeling is this: if general managers want to use analytics to build a successful organization from the front office standpoint, great, do it. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But when analytics are being used to manage the team on the field, i.e. the Dodgers, with all of their ridiculous shifts, and taking out a pitcher after he's thrown 5 pitches to a number 8 hitter, and he's already thrown 86 pitches or whatever, I don't know, that to me gets ridiculous, okay? And all this stuff about, well, you got to take a pitcher out after the 3rd time through the lineup because the analytics say so, baloney. I just recently heard an interview given by Nolan Ryan, and Nolan Ryan said, back in my day, great pitchers made it through the 3rd time in the lineup because they made adjustments. They were great. And yeah, they were worn out. And yeah, this is also as much about conserving players and keeping them healthy as it is their performance on the field. But my standpoint is this, all right? The analytics to me are destroying the product, the overall product of the game. And Major League Baseball can only do so much to make it more marketable to the fans. My belief is take away the shift altogether. Bring back the bunts. Bring back hit and runs. Bring back sacrifices. Make the game fun again. The St. Louis Cardinals were called Whitey's rug burners in the early 80s because they had a few guys named Jose Oquendo, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr, and while they had a few power guys in their lineup like Jack Clark, they slapped that ball on the ground. They played outstanding defense. They outran you day in and day out, hence the term Whitey's rug burners. So I say get rid of analytics to an extent. Get rid of them. Bring back small ball to an extent. Teach guys how to bunt again. Teach guys how to sacrifice, hit and run. Let's make the game fun again. I think analytics have watered the product down to the point where this is one of the reasons why we're having a tougher time attracting younger fans, is because they're going out there and watching an entire infield and outfield shifted all the way over to the damn third base dugout just to field a freaking ground ball. So let's get rid of analytics. Again, if Andrew Friedman and Brian Cashman and Chaim Bloom and Ben Sherrington want to use analytics to build their teams from the front office, do it. But let's get teams have been successful in the past way before analytics, and I blame Bill James, Tom. So
I agree with you, man.
Let's get back to making the game fun. Get rid of analytics. I deplore them.
I love it.
That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I don't like.
I second almost everything you just said.
I would love to
It's
go
been
back
my
I
to
don't like
thing
small
every
ball.
time.
managers using analytics, but like when it comes to small market teams, they don't have a big payroll to just pay any guys they want, so they have to go outside the box. That's
And
where
that I
analytics came
understand.
from.
That
Right?
I understand.
So that's what I
Yes.
mean. So you have to find guys you could pay a lot less money who could
Right.
make the same amount of production as a guy who gets paid $12 million, for example.
Right.
How can I
right.
get this guy to play like a $12 million player for like $575,000?
Right.
That's the
Right.
goal right now.
And that's
And then
another
I
angle.
don't
of
blame
analytics.
you, man.
Yeah.
When it comes
But
to being a small market team, it's impossible with no salary cap. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
the
I think
Royals
the
win on
problem-
I used to
Tuesday?
hate the Pirates for not spending money until I realized after playing out of the park baseball for like 5 seasons, like, holy crap, I get it now. Why it sucks so bad. I used to be like, how come they don't spend money? They're the third most profitable baseball team in all of baseball. This is ridiculous. I don't understand why the Pirates don't ever spend any money. As soon as they have to pay a guy over $10 million, they trade him. Like, dude, if you don't understand what GMs go through, play a couple seasons in that game with any team you want. It's all real teams. You play a couple seasons of a franchise, you're like, holy crap, I get it.
I will say this. I agree with exactly what you mean about the small market teams.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
You've never
You
had
know
a
where
small
I
market team.
disagree? The Sox have a $240 fucking million payroll, and
Yeah.
they're doing it.
See, that's what I find funny. I don't know why large market teams have to do that. They don't.
Because they come from small market teams.
So these guys
Mine
come from
comes from
small market
Tampa.
teams. They go, hey, this worked. We have a bigger payroll. Let's do this. I guess.
If you're the Boston Red Sox or the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Cardinals or the Cubs or you pick it. You pick them. You have more money than God to go get whoever you want.
Basically, if
money
your
than God
payroll's
to
bigger than
sign your-
$175 million,
You
what
have
you're
more money to sign your homegrown talent.
right?
Hold
That's
on,
what I
Instead,
mean.
What's
That's-
happening is your homegrown talent you're letting leave, but you're paying someone coming from a small market team the 140 mil. So are you full analytical or not? Because if the analytical thing is the
Tom,
case,
Tom, hold
Trevor
that thought
Story
real quick.
simply doesn't work.
Tom, hold that thought
Sorry.
real quick. Jay,
Yeah.
I just saw your tweet. You're pissed. Do you have to go now?
Yeah, I got a jet, guys. I'm sorry.
All right,
Oh,
Tom.
okay.
Before
Hey,
you
it was nice
go,
talking
can
to
you
you.
tell people how to get a hold of you real quick?
Yes. So yeah, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Dodger Jason. Some of my tweets are very ridiculous sometimes, so please just realize that I tweet them with a major grain of salt. But if you want to follow me on Dodger Twitter, we can converse on there. That would be awesome
Definitely.
as well. Again, my handle is Dodger Jason. So hey, if you choose to follow, great. If not, no harm, no foul.
Jay, I will
definitely
talk to you tomorrow night with Scott.
All right, sounds good, my
And,
friend. You guys, Tom. Eric,
thank you for coming on
Hey,
tonight. I
man,
know it was
sorry,
a late
man.
notice, but
Yeah,
I thank you for
absolutely.
coming on.
You bet. My pleasure. It was fun, guys, and hopefully we can do
Awesome.
this again soon.
All right, Jay, have a
Definitely.
good one.
Still
Okay.
sunny over there.
You too, guys. Yeah. Hey, it's
Yeah,
sunny
he's-
and hot. See you guys later. Good night.
All right, Jay.
All
All right, so where were we? Sorry, I just read his private message and saw that he was
Analytics.
getting
I
off.
said that
so.
small market teams need it 100% because of their horrible situations with their owners not letting them spend money,
Yeah,
and
I
rightfully
agree.
so. They don't make a lot of money. Not a lot of people go to those games. That's in
Right.
small markets. That's why they have to use analytics. I totally
Yeah.
understand why Oakland A's had to do it at the time. Why the Pirates have to do it. Hey, I understand. But these large market teams that do it, I go, you don't need to. You could look at batting average, OPS plus, and be happy. And home runs.
That's all I
you know?
look at.
That's what I mean. Like, I've never in any baseball games, I've never did a large market team just because like it's too easy. Like I would
Yeah.
just buy me an all-star team, and like no, that's not fun. I want the challenge.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Limited
the
budget.
problem is that the Sox don't do that anymore.
I know. I don't get it.
It's frustrating.
It's hard to tell with the Yankees. I feel like Boone subjected himself to the analytics sometimes with the shifts.
Yeah.
But then I feel like he doesn't because he still puts Gallo in the lineup. Like he's analytically the worst player.
Oh, I was surprised, to be honest. I mean, this is my issue with guys like Joey Gallo. When I was a kid, there was like one player, a team that played like him. You know, he batted 220, struck out 200 times, but he get hold of maybe 30, 40 bombs in the course of the year, and you didn't care because you could bury him in the lineup, and that's fine. My issue with baseball nowadays is there's like 4 of those guys on every team. No one knows how to hit.
I know.
It's just like launch angles and exit velocity.
That's all they care about. Yep.
That's all they care about. That's why Bobby fucking Dahlbeck and Franchi Cordero play first base for the Red Sox. Embarrassing. 2 years in a row now. Come on, man. Like, he is a borderline major league player at best. First base for the Boston Red Sox, not a fucking shot. I wanted Rizzo. They didn't get
Rizzo.
Rizzo.
For the old school trick, you know? It's like, hey, this guy hits bombs, decent amount of bombs. I'm going to trade for Dahlbeck. You know, like I did it.
He can't hit.
Batting 200 every season.
He can't hit.
No.
He simply can't hit.
It's like 25 homers.
But strike out 240 times.
I know.
It's like,
but that's like an old school player, though, you know?
Dude, we had guys like that here. Rob Deere played here in the 90s. 191 he batted. He struck out 200 times.
Great power hitter. For the Yankees.
Jesus.
Problem.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Peter
Sherwood hit like
Gavilia,
40 bombs
Dave
a year.
Kingman. Oh, my
Bat
God.
212.
Brutal.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, Teixeira would hit 40 to 50 homers a year, so I didn't care. I was happy.
And bat 300 or close to it. And that is a professional baseball player, not fucking Franchi Cordero. I know that.
I mean, Barry Bonds was so good. Even if he walked every at-bat in 2004, I think it was, he'd have still been one of the greatest seasons of all time.
Well, think of it like the Ted Williams OBP, like in his career,
like
400, like 480.
Yes, insane, dude. Every single analytical GM would have loved him back then.
But
it's all about on-base percentage.
He hit for power. He hit for average. He walked. He did everything. I mean, it was 100 fucking years ago, but regardless, he did.
That's what I mean, dude. Every
possible.
analytical GM would be after him right now. They'll be calling up Boston, right? Hey, what can we get for Ted? And they'll be like, nothing. Click. You know,
Time would be like, I want those 3 guys in single A.
Yeah, I got 3 guys in single A. Look at the analytics on these guys in the minors. Wow, he
has good break.
We might have to consider it. God. You know, like, look how good they are doing in low A.
He has good spin rate. I'll give you Ted Williams for him.
Yeah, you got a good spin rate.
Ted Williams, Jesus. He's still frozen in the tank.
He's got like 120 mile an hour exit velocity.
Oh, yeah. He is still. His head is still frozen, from what I understand.
Really?
Right. I feel like Franchi Cordero and Dahlbeck's head is frozen too. So, you have that.
You know, I wish the Pirates would have froze the talent they had in 2015 before they started getting bad. Man, that'd been nicer. Nah, look, I think, Adam, your Buccos will be great in the next 2 years. I think next year will come for them next year, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Next year's coming next year, so don't worry. Let them make a couple moves this season. They're going to make some decent free agents. I know we know the Pirates sign
they're just going to fall out the bottom.
We know how the Pirates sign free agents. Hey, we want a really aging bum that used to hit 35 bombs a season. That's Vogelback, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. We signed him back.
We want him. All right, we want that guy. We think we can rebuild careers here because we did it with AJ Burnett one time.
Well,
we
they
think
bring
we
him
can
in.
do it again.
Like,
you know, that's just the way of thinking now in the Pirates.
It worked for Burnett.
You know, but
boys, we got anything else to wrap it up? I mean, we're going over on an hour.
I think that's all I got for that.
So
I'm good.
It was a very, I thought it was a very productive show. We had a couple cutouts, but we'll be all right.
Social
Eric's-
media handles down here. You said you have a YouTube audience now?
I
That's
do
what we're
know
trying
that.
to do.
I think I
Wow. So, Shock Sports Pod, that's my podcast. We've been kind of stagnant for a while. We're coming back, though, this week.
all right. I'm all over
We're
it.
doing a show this week finally.
Yes. And then right here, that's my personal, at Eric Reffert 96, if you guys can see me. So there you go. There's all these
I'll be
social
following, man. I'm just at Tom and Quincy. Very simple.
Tom and Quincy, very simple.
Tom and Quincy.
Sports talking it here, and for me, I got the Hammer Time Pit, which they had a god awful year. We won't talk about the USFL team right now, huh?
No, hey, they're having a second season, but see, the problem is with the USFL, they're still going to be in like 2 or 3 cities. That leads me to believe that Fox doesn't believe in the product, and they might die after season 2.
No, they just said they're coming back for year 2.
Yeah, but the problem is they're only going to be in a handful of cities.
They said they were expanding cities, didn't they?
Yes,
Well,
but
didn't they
it's
all
not
played
8,
in just
though. They
one,
still
right?
don't have field for all 8 teams, so I don't know. I just feel like Fox doesn't believe in it if they don't let all 8 teams have their own fields. Like, come on, you can't let them play at a high school stadium. Who's using that in the spring?
Well, they're
You
trying.
know what I mean? Like,
Like
borrow
the
a high
Maulers are going to
school-
play at Heinz Field whenever they
I
come
mean,
out.
no one's going to show up anyway. I mean, who cares?
People will show up.
Look, here's the thing.
Chance to see
USFL
Heinz
is a
Field for
TV
$5.
game. That's why they do this. It's a strictly for TV game. You can clearly tell by the product when you watch it.
I haven't
Isn't
even
the
watched
one?
it.
Isn't the one linebacker getting
So, I mean,
looked
he
at
didn't
by the
even watch it.
Steelers?
I did. It is a strictly for TV game.
Yeah, I
Isn't
haven't
one
watched
of-
any of it.
Isn't one of the linebackers getting looked at by the Steelers?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to rebirth some careers like the first one.
Yeah, they'll pull some guys. Yeah, they'll pull some guys out for sure. Practice squad guys. It happened with NFL Europe. It's the same. You know what I mean? Like they'll find some of those guys will find homes. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, just like the first USFL did.
Yeah, a few get through.
First USFL gave us Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, Steve Young,
Jim
gave us all
Kelly.
kind of gave us all
Jim
kind of
Kelly,
players.
but like the best, I'd have to say the best player, Herschel Walker.
Steve Young.
No, Herschel Walker by far.
There was a bunch that came out though. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up, Tom. It's been
All
fun.
right, man. Sounds good.
We're gonna eventually gonna get Boomer's son on here one of these days.
What? Yes.
We'll have plenty
See,
more.
I
before
have to
that
let him
happens.
know. I have to tell him to tell his dad to be easy on the Steelers because he always tries to be hard on him every time. I don't know if you noticed that.
Who?
I have to tell him to be easy on the Steelers.
We're talking about Boomer Scott.
What's that?
We're talking about Boomer Scott.
Oh my God! I thought you said.
Boomer
Boomer
Esiason.
Kid. That's what I thought you said. I'm like, dude, I'm about to tell him to fucking be easy on my Steelers, man. Yeah, tell your dad. That's what I was about to say. Never mind. I thought you said Esiason's kid. I'm like, dude, that'd be sick. Never mind.
But
My bad. Sorry, I missed it.
and I don't know what happened to Mike, so hopefully we get in touch with him and find out.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll figure it
It
out.
was another good hang, I thought. So that's cool.
Yeah, met a couple guys tonight. Had a good little chat.
Sure.
Yeah,
But-
I'm the 26. I'm the young guy, so I defended analytics today. I was proud. Had to
You and your young guys
come in for
defended
the
analytics.
defensive numbers. You know, I
It all
hated
started-
math in school, but here I am
It all
crunching
started
numbers
with the
for
hot and
sports.
cold. It all started with the hot and cold zones on TV.
Oh Jesus, that's the
See,
Bill
but that-
James stuff.
But that's actually useful. You know, yeah, they're good at hitting it at this
Yeah,
spot.
it's useful, but it's
this
still
spot,
analytics.
hit this spot, and like it does work. The hot and cold
Right.
zones. It's the best. It's the best. I think it's one of the best stats to look at as a pitcher. Like, where can I place my pitches on this guy?
It's amazing they did that before they came out with that.
Well, yeah, and then they showed the fans, hey, this is what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, but hey, I'm glad they introduced that to us, man. That's fun to look at. I got into that stuff when I was 10. They came out with
There
that
you go.
stuff in baseball games. I was really into hot and cold zones and
What was that
On
World
base
Series? What
percentages.
was that
I don't
World
know
Series
why I
Classic
was-
Baseball or whatever?
Probably
MLB
something like that.
2K6. That's what got me into
Yeah.
being a hardcore baseball guy. Presentation. I don't know, man.
We had that Sega Genesis game, huh, Tom?
And Jeter was on the
Yeah,
cover.
we
So
had
I guess
Sega.
that game is the reason why I'm here.
RBI baseball.
Oh my gosh.
That
Back on the Nintendo days.
Yep.
yeah, hey, RBI baseball came back.
Adam, remember Baseball Stars when it was like they couldn't
Baseball
sponsor
stars,
real
that
teams?
game. Yeah, you couldn't save forever because the game was so big for the game. You wouldn't
Yeah, like
save it all
everyone
the
was
way.
super tall.
Yeah.
What
You
was
could
the
pick like an
one-
all
The
girl
8-bit system couldn't handle it.
No.
What was the one baseball game on the Super Nintendo? I used to play that all the time. It was like
That
Never
backyard
had Super
baseball?
Nintendo.
It's not RBI.
No, backyard baseball was on the PC. That game was pretty badass.
I can't remember, but it was an MLB like Major League Baseball licensed game.
Yeah, it
Had all
wasn't
the real
sponsored.
teams, all the real players.
Yeah.
It even had a franchise mode.
What was it?
That's
World
how awesome
Series.
it was.
Was that World Series?
Yes.
Because it originally came out on the Nintendo.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. We
It's
used to play it
definitely
all the
Super
time.
Nintendo. I remember playing it on there. It was
And then
16 bit.
it was called like World Series like 3 or 4 on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I had 3. I remember the Roman numerals now. So as you said, I had
And
3
then whenever you hit the ball, it was like with the metal bat.
Yeah, you hit the ball and like the camera angle would change to like this
Yeah.
weird parametric. It was so weird. But yeah, no, like I was like 6 when I was playing that, so that was cool. But I'm playing with dudes from the 90s, and I'd be like, Dad, who's Andy Van's like? And playing as the Pirates. And, well, son, the Pirates made it to the playoffs this year, and it sucked, and we sucked ever since.
That's pretty much every story in Pittsburgh.
That's the way I was taught about.
I just saw the Sox blew the bullpen blew it again, so that's good.
Bullpen kept it up. 2-0 win today for the
Jesus
Yanks.
Christ.
It was a
Jesus.
fine shutout today for pitching. So
Danish.
some Danish. I want some Danish. What kind of dishes you got?
And then Danish came in. He got the loss, but Robles is the one that took Danish and Robles to finish a 1-run game. I think that's going to play out.
But all right, boys. I think we're gonna wrap it up for the night. It's been fun.
All right, guys.
All
Eric,
right.
you gonna be on later? Or are you going to bed? All right.
What the hell are you laughing at?
But yeah, we're gonna be wrapping it up here, guys. As you see, Eric is having a good time there. Tom's having a couple beers.
Lounging it up.
Why not? But yeah, guys, it's been fun. Hopefully we'll do it again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But I have to add a thought on it. Look, when you read numbers all day as a baseball fan, you have to enjoy it somehow. It is a boring ass thing to do. So you got to enjoy it somehow.
I hear you.
You got to make it enjoyable because it is boring. It's boring real quick.
All right,
Number
guys.
crunching. If you paid me to do it like those guys in Boston, hell yeah, I would. But all right. It was nice talking to you.
All right.
Nice talking to you too, man.
Have a
I'll
good
follow
one.
you as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'll follow you too, even though we're fans of our rival teams.
Hey, I don't give a shit about that, man.
I don't care either, man.
It's all about good conversation.
Good conversation and
Absolutely.
some good fun when our teams play. All
No
right.
doubt.
All right.
All right, guys.
Fun, guys.
You too.
See ya.
All right. All right. That was the show tonight, guys. And everyone have a good night, and we'll see you later.